A 17-year-old called Kyle Rittenhouse has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder for shootings that took place in Kenosha, Wisconsin recently. There's a lot of confusion about what exactly happened. But in at least 2 of the shootings, video shows Rittenhouse running away, being attacked, and then firing. What does this add up to? Well, some on the left don't want to know. Antifa, according to accounts online, is trying to figure out what cell Rittenhouse is being held in, presumably so they can kill him. So what's the state of the case? What will Rittenhouse's lawyers argue when it does go to court? To find out, we're speaking tonight to John Pierce. He's representing Kyle Rittenhouse. He's from the firm Pierce Bainbridge, and we're happy to have him on tonight. Mr. Pierce, thanks so much for coming on. So,
hi, Tucker. Thank you so much for having us to get the true story out of what happened in Kenosha that night.
Well, I'm eager to know, because this is one of those stories that obviously has intense partisan interest, and there's a lot of confusing video. But what is, broadly speaking, the defense that you will mount on behalf of Kyle Rittenhouse?
This is 100% self-defense, Tucker. Kyle, he's a good kid. He's a lifeguard. Kenosha was burning down. Actually, when he got done with work that day, he went to the high school with some friends to try to remove some graffiti. After that, they got a call from a local business person who owns 3 businesses in downtown Kenosha. 2 of those 3 businesses had been burnt to the ground, and this business owner simply wanted to desperately protect what was left of his life's work, so he asked for help. Kyle and his friends decided that nobody was doing anything to protect that community, and they decided that they would answer that call and help to protect that business. Kyle actually took a first aid kit downtown because he was concerned that there would be wounded protesters downtown. And in fact, he took a firearm because Kenosha had become a war zone.
Right.
And any sensible person would take that. And him and his friends stayed on the premises and protected that property. And then some events started to unfold whereby he was trying to treat medically wounded protesters, and ultimately he got trapped out on the street, out in the open, because the riot police had moved the line far enough down that they were between himself and that premises.
So I have read that he brought a firearm as a juvenile, 17, across state lines. A lot of people.
That is incorrect.
That's incorrect. Tell us where the gun came from.
That is incorrect. That is incorrect. That firearm never crossed state lines. That is a legal firearm in the state of Wisconsin. Wisconsin is an open carry state. That charge is incorrect as a matter of state law. As a 17-year-old, he was legally entitled to have that firearm in his possession. Moreover, we are going to be arguing that the Second Amendment and Title 10, Section 246 of the United States Code renders that charge, and any ordinance that charge would be based on blatantly unconstitutional under these circumstances.
Right. Well, that's really a tertiary charge anyway, because there are other. Let me ask you about the first shooting of Joseph Rosenbaum.
Sure.
The second 2, one man was shot in the arm, the other was shot in the midsection and died. Both of them clearly, and that's obvious on video, attacked Rittenhouse. But the first shooting, was Rittenhouse fired upon before he fired? Did he believe he was fired upon? What were the circumstances of that shooting?
Absolutely. There was the New York Times has a report and has analyzed this very closely. There was a shot that was fired as Kyle was retreating, actually, from a mob that had become enraged that he was trying to put out fires that the arsons had set, and because he was trying to protect property. The mob became enraged. They began screaming that Kyle needed to be killed, and they were going to kill him. They started relentlessly hunting him as prey as he ran down the street attempting to retreat. As he ran out of room to retreat, a shot was fired from behind him. The New York Times has clearly shown that. Shortly after that, the individual, Mr. Rosenbaum, who was leading the attack on him, set upon him immediately, began to assault him from behind, attempted to take his weapon, take his firearm, and Kyle, when he turned, he instantaneously had no choice but to defend himself by firing, because he was in imminent danger of serious bodily harm or death.
So that was the first shooting. So that happened.
That's right.
He called a friend on the phone, said, I think I've killed someone. And then he begins to run. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, actually, let me clarify. Let me clarify that. So actually, Kyle actually attempted to stop and to check on the individual who had been shot. He did make a call to his friend. He said to his friend that he had shot someone. He immediately had to retreat from that area because the mob that was the rioters that were chasing him, who had witnessed this, immediately called him out for the shooting, which of course wasn't self-defense, but they called him out for the shooting. They began saying that he needs to be craniumed, that he essentially needed to be killed. So he began retreating back down the street. He began running back down the police line to try to get to safety. Again, the mob relentlessly and viciously pursued him. And he was struck as he was running from behind by one of the rioters. He tripped and fell to the ground. And then one of the rioters was right over him with a Glock. The other one was attempting, and both of them were attempting to disarm him, to take his AR-15. He was successful in being able to fight that off, and he had no choice but to then immediately defend himself. He was at fear of serious bodily harm or death. He fired and disarmed the individual who had the Glock by hitting him in the arm. He shot and killed the other person who was attacking him. And I got to tell you, one thing, if you really think about this, Tucker, in this war zone, in this chaos that was occurring in a city in America, in the middle of Wisconsin, Kyle, the only individuals that Kyle shot were the three individuals that were attacking him and putting him at risk of serious bodily harm or death. This is a 17-year-old kid. This is amazing.
So let me ask you this, and I think that's a fair point. He didn't shoot indiscriminately, and I'm taking your word for it in the first one because I haven't seen the video, but in the second two, I have seen the video. One guy attacked him. The other guy was pointing a gun at him. Here's my question. He shot that man in the arm, and the man backed off. That man survived. That man has not been charged. He came at a 17-year-old with a gun. Why has he not been charged?
So here's a question that I have, Tucker. Where are the charges for aggravated assault against Kyle Rittenhouse? Where are the charges for arson in our cities? Where are the charges for rioting? Where are the charges for crossing state lines? And where are the charges against the people who are funding this activity and who are financing it? And why is Kyle Rittenhouse, a 17-year-old lifeguard who is attempting to protect the businesses in his community and attempting to help wounded protesters and was protecting his own life while Kenosha was burning, why is he the one sitting in jail tonight as forces within this country sickeningly attempt to find a way to bring harm to him while he's in detention?
It is sickening. Mr. Pierce, thanks for coming on tonight and giving your side of this, which has not been heard. I haven't heard it anyway, so I appreciate it.
Thank you for letting us tell the truth here, Tucker. I really appreciate it.